Hello everyone, I'm Karuna Bappar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to start with pandas. Now, what exactly pandas? Pandas is a basic library supported by Python, and it's an open source library which provides us high performance and easy to use data structures and data analysis tools. Right. In it, we will work on data frames as well as on data series. Now, there is a basic difference between data frame as well as on data series. Data frame must contain more than one row and one column, whereas a data series is having one row and one column or both. Right. Here I am importing NumPy as well as my pandas in my file. See here. Now, creating a data frame. Firstly, we will create a data frame. Herein, I have used reshape function because a range, as I described it, a range function in my NumPy video also. A range gives me the range from it provides me the number from the starting point and the end point, right? So I'm using reshape as well as arrange a range function here. So df is my variable wherein I have put pd.dataframe. Now np.arange is from 0 to 20 and I am reshaping it from for 5 rows and 4 columns. 5 rows and 4 columns, and I am giving index to them. Row 1, row 2, row 5 till row 5, and similarly is the case with columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3 and column 4. Let me execute it. Now df, right? If I print, if I use df.head, now what exactly it will do? It will show me the first 5 entries of our data frame. First 5 entries of our data frame. You may enter argument as 10 also, and then it will print the first 10 entries of your data frame, right? The starting 10 or 5 entries of your data frame. Now I am executing it, right? So here becomes our data frame, right? This is how we can create our own data frame, and we can index it according to our own rows and columns, right? Now creating a CSV file of your data frame. How can we create our own CSV file here? Let me show you one more example here, right? Now for the above data frame which we have created, let me create my own CSV file. For that, I need to type function which is to underscore CSV, right? And let me give the name my test file dot CSV, right? Now, if I execute it, see here, unmatched. Oh, sorry, underscore, right? So if I execute it, now let me show you. This file will be created in my directory wherein I have written my this file, right? Let me show you here. So my test file, as you can see here, my test file will be created in my directory wherein I have all these files. This panda file is also there, right? So this is how we can create. Now this is simply creating CSV file from the data frame, and we can do vice versa also. From the CSV file we can create our own data frame also, right? Let me show you another examples. Now assessing the elements of your data frame. Now we have two you can say two functions, inbuilt functions, where from where you can assess your elements of your data frame, right? Now one is dot loc. Dot location gives the normal location, but if I say if I use dot ILOC, then it means indexed location. Then I need to give the index of. Here I am using simple dot loc function. See here, dot loc, and df dot loc row 1. It gives me column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, right? Right. So here also, see here, data series, as we are considering only one row. Now if I am using type function here, see here, the description is also there, right? Let me show. Right, see this way, description is there. type function, right? So type function will provide me the type function provide me the data type of this particular data frame. Now what exactly its data type? It shows me that it is a data series. Why it is data series? Because we have considered only one row or one column. That is why it is showing me here. Here I have used row 1 only. That is why its data type is data series, right? Now the next assessing method, dot loc method, right? Now here I am using data frame with dot loc function. See here, right? Dot loc. Now dot loc is what? Indexed location. It provides me indexed location. Now I have to provide my index here, starting from 0th row to second row till second row, starting from 0 column to till second column. So it is giving me column 1, column 2, that is 0 column, first column, 0 row and first row. That's how it works till from before 2, before second index. So 0 and 1 stands by here, right? Now if I type, now here again, if I type using the type function again, now what exactly it will show me? Now it is giving me the data type data frame, because we have more than one row and more than one column. So this is the difference between data series as well as in data frame, right? This is the basic difference between data frame as well as data series. Now assessing elements from column 2 onwards. Now if I want to assess column elements from column 2, now what I need to give here is, see here, df dot iloc colon, that is all rows I need, and in the columns I am giving index from one column onwards. So that if I execute it, see here the output, right? Now converting data frame into array. My next exercise is to convert data frame into array. Now here I have taken my data frame. Now I want to create it as an array. So I need to give the function dot values. So it will print all the rows from the column 1 in from the column 1 index in onwards. So if I use dot values, then it is giving me the data frame in the form of array, right? Now if I am using df.iloc, I am again taking all the rows from the one column onwards. I am using dot values for array and I am shaping it. Now shape function, what it provides? As I told you earlier also, shape function provides me the rows and the columns. So here it provides me that I have 5 rows. See here, I have 5 rows, 1 row, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I have 3 columns. That is why it is giving me output 5 comma 3, 5 rows and 3 columns. Now to check null values in the data frame, how we can check? Wherever, see, when we use pandas, right, we generally come across a heavy data set wherein I have to check that the null, where are the null values in my data set. Then this function is becomes very handy. It's very easy to use also. Df dot as null, and if I want to sum them, then I can use the sum function also along with the is null function. So here when I execute it, it is showing me that column 0, column 1, 2, 3, 4, it has 0, 0, 0, because let me show you how. See here, no null value. So that is why it is showing me, this sum is 0, 0, 0, 0, because there is no null value over there, right? Now to find the unique values, we can use the count function. Earlier also we used count function in NumPy also. So here I am also using this, and I am calculating, I am counting the occurrences of the unique values, right? So here dot value counts. So it is giving me 12 value is one time, it occurs one time, 4 value occurs one time, 16 value occurs one time, 8 is. So see, when I execute it, it works in a simpler way. Like, now we can get data by simply typing column names also. If we just need to if we just type column names, it provides us the data. I'm executing it and you can have, see here, right? Now, reading data from external files or data sets. If we want to read our data from our external sources, external files, external data sets, now what we need to do is we need to call read underscore CSV. If it is a CSV file, then we need to give read underscore CSV, and we need to give the argument. Which argument we should give? Mercedes-Benz.csv. This is the file I want to read through pandas. So I'm using now my data frame. Df is my variable wherein I am reading through it. I am reading this Mercedes-Benz.csv file. See here, right? Now, if I use df.head, what exactly it will print? It will print the first 5 rows. See here. See, this is really very interesting. NumPy, pandas are the essence of Python. They gives us lot of privileges and makes our code very simple, very easy to use, right? So here I'm using my, I'm reading my file. That is what which file I want to read, my test file .csv. But here I am using separator here. If we want to access a CSV file which is separated not by comma but by a semicolon, then we need to give separator. That our CSV file is not separated by comma but a semicolon, then we need to specify it in our parameter. See here. Now I am giving parameter .csv. See here. Let me show you how it works. My test.csv. It is in my, see here. Let me show you. As you can see on the screen, it is separated by semicolons, not by comma, but by semicolons. That is why I have used an argument as a separator argument, and I have given semicolon into it. And when I execute it, it shows me, right? Now, df.info. It will provide me the information about the data set, its columns, its rows, its data types, every bit. If I want to find out the information about my data set, then what exactly I have to need? I have to give df.info, and it will provide me each and every bit of it. Is it clear? Right? I really hope pandas are more clear to you now. Right now, df.describe function is also there. Now, what exactly this function is? This function provides me major statistical, you can say major statistical methods. It calculates count, mean, standard deviation, mean values. It provides me all, right? It gives us the count, mean, standard deviation, min values of only labels with int or float data types. Always remember, if we have data frame in wherein I have category, I have objects also, but I have int values also, float values also, and if we perform df.describe, only df.describe will count or will give count, mean, standard deviation, min, median only of labels which have int and float data types, right? Not of categories. Is it clear? Let me execute it. It makes more sense when you see it. See here, right? So it is giving df.info, that is info gives the all the data types, the rows, the columns of the data frame, whereas in describe function gives us the count, mean, standard and deviation of all the labels, right? If I go to my data frame, the actual data frame, it was this one. See here. Now, as x0, x1, x2 labels doesn't have int or float values, So it is not giving me the mean count of these particular labels, but it is giving me the values which have int and float data types. It is giving me the count of these only. See here, count of these only, and till 385, x 385, as you can see on my screen also. Now to assess the unique category counts, how many category counts we do have, right? So I am using here the column x0, and I want to find out the unique category counts this particular column has. So I am using dot value counts. If I execute it, see here. Now let me show you about x0. See here, x0, it has different category counts. So it is counting dot value underscore counts. Give me, this function gives me the unique category counts of that particular column, right? Now CSV description. How can we describe CSV, right? I'm using another library, you can say library functions. From IO, I am importing string IO, string input output, as well as bytes input output. Now what exactly these string input output and bytes input output will do for us? Let me show you how it works. See, now we are our own data in CSV format, and we will save it and assess it as a CSV file. See here, I have taken my own data here, call 1, call 2. As you can see here, by giving /n, it is a separated line, next line, next line, next line, right? If I type data here, what let me execute my data and use type function. Now it is giving me string. It is considering my data as a string, right? Okay, now string IO is what? If I simply type my string IO function, what it gives me, see here. String IO is not defined because I have not imported, I have not executed it, right? Let me execute all these cells first, then it won't give me any error, right? Now if I simply use string IO function, what exactly it is giving me? It is giving me string IO, right? Now pd.read CSV. Now I want to convert this string into my data set. That is why into my CSV. Now I am read CSV. I am using string IO. Now I really hope that it makes things clear to you. String input output. Now our simple data which was in the string form, it will be read as a CSV files here, just by using string IO function. And how would I get the string IO function? By just importing this IO. From IO, import string IO, or we can convert this data into bytes input output also. I'll show you later on. See here, if I execute, see, right? Now specifying columns data type. See here, if I have given the columns here, right? If I print my data one, right? Now we can change this data type to our created data. See here, data frame, any variable you can take, pd.read CSV. Now in string input output data 1 and d type, I am taking d type as an object. Now d type is object, means that it will create all my values as strings. Now it will treat all my values in the data as object, as strings, right? If I execute it, see here, although it were in numbers, but it will consider it as a string. See here, that is the reason. If I execute one column, right, it is giving me d type object, right? If I want to execute my a column, right, a column, and which one, which value, the rows value, first rows value, so it is giving me 5, again a string. Why it is a string? Because it is in single quotes. It is providing it. It is considering 5 as a string now, not as a int. Not as a int. I am repeating, not as a int. Try to understand the difference. as I have converted my data type into object, now all the ints or the floats in my data will be turned into strings. This is the reason that is why whenever I type any column, it is giving me type d type object, even a single value. Even if I show you how a single value will execute, and it is giving me as a string value, right? Again I am reading, and now I am again replacing my object into d type into int. See here, right? Now if I again execute my data frames a columns first row value, now it is giving me 5, not as a string but as a int. Got it? Similarly, I can change my string IO data to d type float. Now it is giving in float. If I execute the same column and the same row value, now it is giving me 5.0 because it becomes float now. Right? So with this way, you can change any of your columns into any of your data types. See here, I have converted my column B into int, C column into float, and A column into int 64. See here, right? If I execute it, see here. Now my float C column becomes float. You can see here the values have been turned into 3.0, 7.0, 11.0, right? And my B column is int, and my A column is int 64. And if I execute another inbuilt function, that is df dot d types, now it is showing me all the data types of all the columns, right? Isn't it interesting? Yes, it is, right? Okay, now here I'm initializing one more data. I'm taking one more data, right? Now my data 2 says index is also given here, a b c, and columns are there, the values are given here, right? Now if I read it through string io, right, it is giving me index and then a b and c. But if I want to make our index column 0, now it should be column 0. Now you must be saying that it is by default, it is no, it by default it is not column 0. See here, index, it won't take it take index as an index, not as a column, right? So this is the difference here. Sorry, here I am giving the argument pd.read_csf string io data, and now I am giving, specially I am giving index column. I am providing that index is my column and give it a 0 index, right? Now if I execute it, see the difference, right? Is it clear? Okay, now you can make index of any column of your choice. You can make index of column 2 also. See here, now the column 2 becomes your index column, right? B was 2, and if I am giving it as an index column, it becomes my index column. Is it clear? Okay, moving on further now. I have taken another data. See here, A, B, C again in rows, slash and separates the line, right? So if I execute it, now I am reading this. Now string IO data 3. Here one our column A value becomes the index. If we don't want this, then we need to specify the index. See here, if I execute, let me show you how it works. See here, now A becomes our index by default, but we didn't want it. We want that A should be given the value 4 and 8, B should be given the value apple and orange, and C should be given the value bat and cow, and nan shouldn't be there because it has taken a column as an index. That is why string io will always take as an index, right? First column as an index. That is the reason our data shifted, right? If we want that our index should not be shifted, our first column should not be shifted as an index, then what we need to do is we need to make it false. That is what I have done in my next cell. See here, I have given index column as false. right? Now the values have changed. A has 4 and 8 values, B has apple and orange, and C has bat and cow, right? Okay, now moving to next cell, combining use columns and index columns. See here, right? Again, I have taken the data, I am reading it. Let me execute this data first, right? Now I am reading it through as a CSV file, string.io. Again, I have used. Now I have used, again in this, I have used two use columns. Use columns means I am using my preferred columns. Now my preferred columns are only B and C. Now it will show only those columns which I am interested in, right? So here I have taken B and C column, and my index column is false again. So it is not considering index as a separate index, right? If I execute, see here, right? Now quotation marks and escape characters, very useful as far as NLP, natural language processing applications, are concerned. You have to use them whenever NLP applications, you are performing any operations on your NLP, right? So here I have taken one data 5, which is a combination of quotation marks, escape characters also. Let me execute my data this first, right? Now I am reading it, and here I have given this escape character as an argument. Why I am giving it as an escape character as an argument? That I want that if escape character is there, then it will remove escape characters from the data, and this data can be combined under my column A and B. See here, if I execute it, let me show you how it works. See here, now A and B were the columns, right? I have written hello and Bob, right? And after this escape character, I have written nice to see you. So I just want that these should be combined in my columns. This is a separate, this should be considered as a single statement under the column. So what I need to give is the parameter escape character, right? So it will escape this particular symbol. It will treat it as a escape character, and it will join. See here, now in the output, hello Bob, nice to see you, and B 5. So herein A's value is the entire this value. Let me show you again. See here, this entire thing is the A value, and B column value is, this is the B column, and its value is 5 here. Got it? I really hope things are more clear to you now, right? So moving on further, in URL or CSV file, you can use tab slash also, tab separator also, right? If you in your CSV file tabs are there, then you can use separator as tab, right? If you want to, let I have used one URL here. Let me show you this, right? See here. Now the tab separator gives me this output, right? If I type, let me type it in my browser, and you will get how this data was. Actual data was like this, right? Let me type it. Okay. Actual data was like this. It was using these tabs. So in my pandas, I have used my argument separator as tab. Now it is considering all the tabs, and by tabs it is saying that these are the columns, and it is reading CSV as different columns. So that's all in this video. I hope pandas are clear to you. In my next video, I will provide you how pandas work with different file formats. Thanks for watching.